We've all heard about President Biden's legal troubles as he tries to erase some college student debt for millions of Americans. But what if you never accrued that debt to begin with? This year, students interested in furthering their education have access to a ton of free or reduced courses. This morning, the president of the Community College of Vermont, the longest serving college president in Vermont, tells us how it's going.
CCV is in amazingly good shape. We are firing on all cylinders, and when I say that, I mean enrollment is strong. We are one of the few colleges, community colleges in the country that actually thrived during COVID. We actually grew 10% during the COVID years, which is pretty amazing when you look around at other community colleges throughout the country when they lost between 5 and 20% of their enrollment. So we feel incredibly good about that. Also, we also measure our success in addition to enrollments in terms of our relationships with people. We have some incredible philanthropic partners who are supporting our mission and supporting our students in ways that we never imagined that we would be able to do that. We have strong relationships with our K-12 partners. We have strong relationships with businesses. Our staff over and over and over again have heard me say that we are only as good as our relationships are deep. And I feel like we have worked so hard on those relationships.
We are in one of 12 campus locations around the state here.
Yes.
And they're tucked away in really every town of consequence, it seems, when I drive around. And they're all doing well?
We think we're one college, and so we have 12 different locations, and we don't necessarily think of, oh, how is Winooski doing or how is Morrisville doing, but rather how is the college doing as a whole, because our centers really mirror the local communities. So like we expect something very different in Chittenden County than we do in Newport. I think one of the other things that's been very interesting as a result of COVID is that geography matters less and less these days. We need to make sure we are providing services locally, but students are taking courses in remote ways that they never imagined were possible prior to COVID. So in some ways,
not going away.
No, and COVID has increased access, so that people, if you want to take a course that might never have run in a small location, today you have access to it. And we offer 5 different ways to access courses remotely. So people can have a lot of choices today.
Your total enrollment then, when you add it all up, is about what? We
say we serve about 10,000 Vermonters in a year, and we have 3 different semesters. Our summer semester, different than many colleges, is really big. Our summer is half again as big as our fall and spring. And we also see a lot of students, and adult students, whether you're 18 or 65 and you're accessing higher education, it's a lot of stop and starts. You take some courses one semester, then life might get in the way for the next semester, but you come back in the summer. So in the course of a year, we serve about 10,000 Vermonters.
That's big by Vermont standards.
It is. We are the second largest college in Vermont, second only to UVM.
In Vermont, we have for years heard that our high school graduation rates are at the top in New England.
That's correct.
Compared to our New England states. But our college matriculation rates are nothing to write home about. And is cost really the principal barrier there? There are a series of incentive programs that we'll get to, but is it changing?
And I would say that cost is a factor, and I will talk about that in a minute about why I feel so strongly that cost is a factor. But I also want to preface that all by saying it's not the only factor. So there are other things in terms of the value of higher education, the value of continuing your education, the competition with jobs that are so plentiful right now. But I think one of the things that has happened as a result of COVID is Vermont has dealt with the affordability issue in ways that they've never dealt with. So as a background, CCV's tuition, and we're by far the least expensive college tuition in the state, is one of the highest community college tuition rates in the country. And so cost does become a barrier. And so during COVID, I think that the legislature and the governor's office had incredible good foresight into thinking that we're going to take some of the federal money and provide it to people who were impacted by COVID and allow them to go back to school, invest in themselves, increase their skills. And what we found as a result of that, we saw more and more Vermonters accessing higher education. And we did a number of surveys over the 3 years and asked adults, and when I say adults, I mean whether you're 17 or 75, but you have a lot of responsibilities other than just being a college student. And we asked those students, why now? Why did they go back to school now? Why hadn't they invested in their education previously? And more than 90% of them said because of the expense. So when we addressed expense, we began to see more and more Vermonters investing in themselves. And so, you know, I think if it was a one-off, you would say, oh, it's just because of that. But what we saw and what we continue to see with all the opportunities that now are presenting themselves to Vermonters to be able to come back to school and not have the incredible burden of a loan, we are seeing so many more students. So we're seeing an uptick. Now, the challenge is, are we going to be able to continue these programs so that this trend will continue? But we are definitely seeing more and more students, particularly with the McClure Early Promise.
We first reported here on the McClure Early Promise Scholarship in early 2022. Julie Light, a high school senior from Plainfield, signed up for Vermont's early college program, offering a year of CCV courses while she was still in high school. Now, under the McClure Promise, she'll get a free second year.
It seems like a good opportunity for kids and adults who might want to go to school and just haven't had the opportunity because of money.
And that has grown for you now in the second year.
It is. It has grown. It's almost doubled the enrollment. We're probably going to have between 250 and 300 students enrolled in the McClure Early Promise program. And, you know, I want to step back and just say Vermont is so fortunate to have a foundation like the McClure Foundation, who are invested at their core in making sure that any Vermonter who wants to access a college education has the ability to do that. And so the McClure Foundation and CCV partnered so that if a student does the early college program through that is a program funded through Act 77
in their senior year
in high school. So their senior year in high school, they take all their academic coursework at CCV. Those students can still participate in sports and still do drama and all of that at their high school, but they take all their academic courses at CCV. So they're considered a full-time student at CCV. If they complete that year, then the McClure Foundation has said to them, we will fund your second year. And so they can leave CCV with an associate degree at no cost to them. And what's wonderful for students is, you know, they can then go and use that degree to get a job. But they can also, if they aspire to get a bachelor's degree, they can transfer to the University of Vermont. They can transfer to Vermont State University. They can transfer to Champlain, anywhere. And, you know, you have the first 2 years of your college paid for. I mean, that's real money.
But there's also the new 802 Opportunity Grant. Any Vermonter whose family earns up to $75,000 annually can take free courses at CCV.
You know, and that hits half of all Vermonters. And so half of all Vermonters can utilize the 802 Opportunity Grant. And it's just it's a wonderful recognition of, you know, the Vermont legislature, the governor's office, VSAC, CCV coming together and saying, we've got to figure out a way to help more Vermonters be willing to continue their education past high school.
Or the Vermont Tuition Advantage Program, half-price courses for any student, regardless of income, pursuing a certificate or degree in one of 20 high-demand career fields. Or the Welcome Home Scholarship, $5,000 off if you transfer to Vermont from an out-of-state school. Or the Degree Completion Scholarship, allowing those who never finished to get their degree. No tuition, no fees, some income limits apply. Beyond that, opportunities to pursue the trades.
Technical education is as important as any form of education today, and we just need to encourage people to follow their passions. You know, it doesn't matter whether you want to be an accountant or whether you want to be an electrician, but let us help you continue your education so you can be the best at what you want.
Has CCV been impacted at all from the tumult surrounding Vermont State University, the long road to merger that culminated in July?
Yes and no. We are part of the same system. So the Vermont State College system today has two colleges in it, the Community College of Vermont and Vermont State University. And we are in the same system, so we are partners, and that's really important. And we need Vermont State University to succeed. I will say that CCV's most important role in the system is we are the open end of the funnel. We oftentimes help people see that they could go to college, they can get their first 2 years, we can help them get their footing in terms of going to college. And then what we hope is that people want to continue their education and transfer. I'll give you an example. We have for years had a long, deep, and really important relationship with Vermont Technical College in their nursing program. So every year, usually between 70% and 80% of the students who graduate from Vermont Tech in their nursing program have taken CCV courses. And so we have an allied health prep program that really, it's the first 24 credits of a nursing degree. And so we have many students who take those first 24 credits and then they transfer into the nursing program. And you know, we also have a lot of people who come to CCV aspiring to be a nurse, and then they get started and they think, that's not what I want to do. And so we can help them pivot, whereas if they had just started in a nursing program, they're taking up that slot in the nursing program. But we can help them sort of figure out, yeah, this is the path you want to take, or no, I want to go into respiratory therapy. I don't want to be a nurse. So we can help people find their path.
I still sense your passion. I read the other day that you are the longest serving college president in our state, and 40 years at CCV is also quite an achievement. And this comes in an era where we've seen so many other institutions in our state with new presidents now. I mean, and the list is long. It's most of them.
Yeah.
But not CCV. What keeps you going?
You know, people ask me that often, and sometimes I wonder, okay, are they asking me because they think I should be moving on, but I think that, you know, what's really important for me is I believe in this work, and I believe that CCV does really good work and important work, because, you know, I talk to so many students around the state, and, you know, for so many of them, if CCV wasn't there, they would never have gotten started in their education. And, you know, our students go on and do amazing things. And, you know, the sky's the limit. But if there wasn't a way to help them get started, because, you know, so many of our students, you know, they don't have the time or the money to say, I'm just going to pack up and move onto a campus. But they aspire to have a college education. And so we're able to really help that. And, you know, I think that, you know, what's also important is, you know, every college in the state has its important niche. And our niche is really helping people on the front end. But I also think that I want to make sure I give a nod to our faculty. Our faculty are incredibly talented and skilled. And in 1970, when Governor Dean Davis first created the Community College of Vermont, his vision was that Vermont communities are incredibly rich with talent. And there are lots of people who would love to share that expertise, but aren't going to give up their profession to become a full-time teacher. And so that is the model we've had for 50 years. And it is, and students over and over and over again tell us that one of their favorite things at CCV is their faculty, because they're all practitioners. If you're thinking of going into bookkeeping or accounting, you get to be taught by someone who is an accountant. We have doctors and nurses who teach anatomy and physiology. Our art faculty are among the best in Vermont because they're all practicing professionals but want to share that expertise. So I'm passionate about our model, and I'm also just passionate about the work we do, and that so many Vermonters or so many students would not start their education if we weren't there. So I'm still really passionate about the work we do. Relationships are all about this, and I feel like that when you asked me the original question of, you know, where is CCV and what are you thinking about in the future, it's our relationships, and we've cultivated those for years.
Continued success. Joyce, Judy, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
About that merger at the new Vermont State University, we'll have an update for you here next week.